Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sister Speak. My name is Judy Latimore, and I'm excited to be here today to go over this topic with you. We were having a discussion, and we were thinking, and we said, what happens when the music stops? When I think about this topic, the first thing that comes to mind is visualizing when this actually happens. I can see myself like in the car, listening to music, or maybe at home relaxing, watching TV, streaming, doing different things. And then all of a sudden, the music that you were listening to stops. It's instantaneously quiet. I guess you would say the first thing that happens is quietness. The question then comes, what do I do with this quietness? Our nature, as humans, as creatives, as musicians, and even in this discussion, we're going to be able to see, even as worship leaders, that we actually thrive on noise. It's kind of crazy. But our nature, in a way, when this happens, is we panic. It's like, it's too quiet. Our brain just registers and it's like, oh, okay, I've got to do something. It's too quiet. So we're programmed to make noise or to do something rather than to engage in this quietness. In some cases, this is good, and in some cases, it's not. So I'm just going to give a few examples, and we're going to have just discussions about what we can do when this happens. So I'm just going to give a few examples of ways that we can position ourselves that when this happens, when the music stops, that we can know what to do. And I'm actually going to take it from a spiritual perspective as worshipers. In 1992, the renowned gospel singer, male vocalist extraordinaire, Daryl Coley, I'm sure all of you remember him, he released an album of the same title that was called When the Music Stops. And he actually had a song with that title. If you research the album, you can tell that by the different song titles, as well as even looking at some of the lyrics within the songs, that possibly these questions came up in his situational experiences. He had to make decisions and had to decide to do certain things, but ultimately what he had to do was to deal with the quietness that happened when the music stopped. So here are the lyrics to that song, a few of them. When the music stops, that's when I live my song. When the band goes home, that's when I live my song. When I've said amen, and the crowd begins to fade away, that's when I live the life that I sing about in my song. Here's another part. It says, if I sing a song of love, I've got to live it. If I sing a song of joy, I've got to live it. If I sing a song of peace, if I sing a song of happiness, I've got to live it. I've got to live the life that I sing about in my song. Now, he even went further and said, if I sing a song of pain, oh, I've got to live it. It got good to him there. He says, if I sing a song of despair, oh, I've got to live it. God has given me a song of hope. He has given me a song of victory. So I've got to live the life that I sing about in my song. Now, when I think about that, my generation, we would just say, man, that was deep. That was just like deep. But when you look at it in a little more depth and with a little more trying to really understand what he was speaking, clearly he had not only faced the music stopping, which was a part of his career, but he dealt with the quietness in a way that answered the questions that he pondered. I want to go a little further in answering that question. What do we do with the quietness? So I'm just going to kind of break it down into 3 points, if you will, that I've reached when this happens, when the music stops. For me, and even when I look at those lyrics that we just mentioned, I look over my own personal relationship and my own experiences, and 2 things come to mind. When you think about everything he said, he was looking at himself being responsible and being accountable. Remember where I started. We mentioned that our first tendency is to fill the quietness with noise. We immediately turn on another song, or either change the channel and start watching something else on TV. Anything to make noise. We'll get on the phone, start having a conversation. We'll start cooking again, making noise, banging those pots and pans. We'll even maybe look at some mail that we just got. That restlessness of the paper, noise. Now, when you think about it, all of it could be considered a distraction, because we really won't deal with that question of quietness. It's easy to, on purpose, do things just to fill it up. But the real question is, and this is now coming from a spiritual or being a worshiper, what do we do with the quietness as far as God is concerned? Because to be perfectly honest, God operates in the stillness. He has a still small voice when he responds to us. So when we're not allowing those occasions to occur, those quietness, making that noise is just a distraction. So I'm going to still give just a few more examples of what we can do, where we can take advantage of the quietness and move forward with God. The other day I saw a Facebook post, and of course I'll mention the young lady's name to give her credit since I didn't come up with it myself. But she said being distracted by what is good and not what is God is so last season. Think about that. It's old for us to be more involved in just doing good, instead of looking at, is that what God really wants? So I thank Candace Mumphrey for saying that. So obviously the time is now that true worshipers that the Bible speaks about, God is seeking us. And those true worshipers, what we have to do is take the necessary accountability and responsibility for our own lives. God has gifted us. He's anointed us. So let me go over the 3 points I was talking about. It's simple. When the music stops or when Sunday morning ends, we should immediately start something. Again, when the music stops, let's go over 3 starts that we can make. The first one is the listening start. When we allow the quietness to overwhelm us, again, we talked about it, that near panic state that we will find ourselves in, we can actually find that it's a period in which we could gain direction and guidance. Another word for this is solitude. Solitude in its real meaning says that it's a state or a situation of being alone. The great part about solitude or being alone is that it becomes easy to clear the distractions. Learn how to embrace this time. Take it as an opportunity, again, to become more acquainted with that still small voice that God speaks in. Pray and learn to listen in the quietness to what God has to say and the direction that He's taking us. A couple of scriptures that will solidify that, which show us how important solitude is in our Christian growth. Matthew 14:23 says, after ministering to the multitudes, Jesus went up the mountainside by himself to pray. Now he was with a multitude of people. He obviously had the disciples with him. He could have said, hey, I'm going to the top. Y'all come on, let's go. No, he went by himself. He didn't even tell them. They probably was looking around like, where'd Jesus go? Somebody saw him going up the mountain. The next one is Luke 5:16. This kind of sounds like Luke saw it this way. Jesus, in Luke 5:16, Jesus often withdrew himself to lonely places to pray. So at one point he would be with you. The next thing they probably was looking around and he was gone. Couldn't find him nowhere. He went to pray. So let's embrace the quietness. Enjoy what we result from it. And even if it's a little uncomfortable, be willing to face what's on the inside of you, because that's when that happens. We just don't want to really deal with us. But if we face that and be willing to understand what's going to be revealed, that what we'll see about us, some of it we may not even like. But if we get to that point in that still quietness, that's when we can even be healed. God can heal us in that.
Hi, this is Zoe. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Sister Speak on YouTube. Stay up to date, join our email list, and follow our blog at www.iamtracymichelle.com.